You know, Kamarul, I never knew this, but Iskandar Malaysia, which is that huge development down south in Johor, is apparently 6 years away from reaching full maturity, whatever that means. And the thing is, I didn't realize that the time frame was quite so short before it becomes whatever it is, the full-fledged. But where is it now, actually? What's the status of like all the developments for those who, like, you know, don't go down to Johor or are Johorian?
Where is it now? That's quite a tricky question because Iskandar has grown, no doubt about that.
Correct.
Yeah, investments, you know, the numbers are good. I think up to June 2019, it was about 302 billion ringgit has been committed into Iskandar, and about half of that has already been realized. But at the same time, you know, Iskandar, the story of Iskandar is about creating this metropolis or urban conurbation of international standing because of its, I mean, leveraging on its position next to Singapore and then the ample land, the low cost labor. So and the ambition was big, you know, to make Iskandar as the Shenzhen of Southeast Asia, you know, leveraging on the Singapore connection. Are we there? I'm not really sure, you know, because there's still a lot of issues that we have to sort out, and especially in terms of employment, you know, what kind of jobs that we get in here, what kind of investments that we get in here, are they paying well to our workers, and are our workers better off now? Can they afford property? Can they, you know, afford to live in, because of the increasing cost of living, can they afford to have a decent living? So those are the things that we have to sort out now.
You mean, of course, specifically you're talking about people who live in Johor, right? I mean, most people know that I'm Johorian, so I do understand that down in Johor, the wages are still less than what you make in KL. So it's clearly not reaching that level even yet. But what more worrying for me was seeing all these Khazana Investments, that they pumped a lot of big money in, Legoland, Pinewood Studios. They are in different stages. I mean, like Pinewood Studios just parted ways with the Malaysian side. Apparently, they want to sell Legoland. That's looking for buyers. I mean, what kind of thing? Isn't that kind of worrying when you were asking the Iskandar people?
Dato' Ismail Ibrahim, when I interviewed him,
The CEO?
Yeah, the CEO of Virda, he said that, you know, it could be a good thing. I mean, there is a change in the approach for Khazana after the 14th general election. So the government says that you have to grow the economy, but do it so prudently, you know. So whatever investments that Khazana wants to get in, they have to
make money on it.
Make money out of it. So probably in the past, it was more about catalysts, you know, creating the catalytic economic activity in Iskandar. So that's why they invested in Legoland resorts, in a lot of this, in Pinewood, in Edu City. So they wanted, because they wanted to create the economic activity and the capacity of Iskandar Malaysia. But now, and especially after GE14 and the change of the direction, seems to be more emphasized on whether that investment makes money, you know.
Well, the CEO also did mention one particular thing that he says could be the main sort of center point, which is Sanaa Airport. He was mentioning something huge, like 17 million visitors, because I suppose, and we were talking about this, is I can understand why he wants to build it. It's another entry point, very close to another big entry point, which is Singapore. But if you have like more routes in, you could become the cheaper airport alternative, like how Newark is in New Jersey to New York's JFK, in a way. So he's got big plans for it. What were his big plans? The
plan for Sanaa is not just for traffic, it's also for, because they wanted to build an aerocity there based on Sanaa Airport. Of course, you know, there's a lot of land there. MMC has a lot of land there, and you know, even the surrounding areas, there are still land that can be expanded into. So
yeah, Johor has a lot of land.
Yeah, so you know, leveraging on that, and given that Malaysia is also one of the you know, most established MRO players, aerospace players in this region, so probably that is the, I mean, he told me that is the direction that they wanted to get into.
But let's talk about the gigantic, huge white elephant in the room, which is the property overhang. I mean, that was the biggest thing that everybody went into Iskandar with, you know, building condos, multiple towers. And now there's a real fear that it will be a ghost town. You know, it is you see so many towers, you see prices, like this one story where, you know, a 1.78 million ringgit house is now going for 780,000. That's $1 million off. Has he said anything to address this property overhang, the biggest, in fact, in the country?
Well, Dato' Ismail is, of course, addressing the problem by cooperating or talking with the developers and the state government. The thing is, property development is not a segment that is promoted by IRDA for Iskandar to have, you know, to grow on. But of course, you know, when a lot of investments are coming into a region and there is a concerted effort by the government to grow this region, of course, you know, property developers will come in and started to, you know, buy lands and build projects there.
So did he actually give you a concrete solution? Although it's not under IRDA, did he actually sort of give you a concrete solution as to what he's going to do about it?
The problem with the property development in Johor and Iskandar particularly cannot be solved with just one simple solution, because it is a fundamental issue. The developers are building, they build houses beyond the means of the local population, and then at the same time, the local population's buying power, purchasing power is not there yet. It's a fundamental issue. So to solve a fundamental issue requires a very
determined?
Yeah, and it's going to be painful as well. You know, it cannot be solved with a patchwork kind of solution.
For more on the stories, pick up a copy of The Edge Weekly at all good newsstands.